Is the bacteria present in plaque different from the bacteria present in calculus?
Aerobe versus anaerobe, doc. Does that have to do
What
with
about what about it?
when you have the anaerobe bacteria, normally the shift in ano yun, the
Shift
bacterial
in the
environment from
environment?
oo, from if it's anaerobic, usually they're more destructive than aerobes na, 'di ba?
But let's say that this one has more anaerobic bacteria. If this calcifies, what happens?
Uh, I think maybe it's
If
because
if it
the
calcif oh,
Okay, go ahead. Miss Lynn first.
okay, that maybe because the calculus is more porous and the oxygen more easy to go inside.
Okay. Mr. Fadul.
I was gonna go towards where she's going. If this is anaerobic and you go towards calculus, it's more ano yun, porous. It allows ano, ano, I'm having a
What
hard time explaining it. But
happens? What happens during the process of calcification?
Oh, okay. I think maybe it's because the calcification, so the inside, the bacteria inside the calculus was sealed, so
No.
cannot
What?
contact the.
Not really. What causes calcification of plaque?
What caused it?
sa
Yeah.
the minerals,
The minerals that's present in
saliva and clavicular fluid.
saliva. So one of the property of saliva is
Kills bacteria also. May
it
ano.
kills bacteria. It has antibacterial property. It's able to kill the bacteria. So meaning to say, during the process of calcification, what happens to the amount of anaerobic bacteria present? It
It lessens.
decreases.
It
It's
lessens.
less than. So meaning to say, the more prominent bacteria or the more dominant bacteria now are the aerobic bacteria once it becomes calculus. Yes, there are bacteria present, however, they are not virulent enough to cause the disease. You get that? Sabi natin, di ba? We need to have more anaerobic bacteria for you to have tissue destruction in the area. Even though you have anaerobic bacteria here, but if they're not enough in number, then they cannot cause the disease. You need to have a shift in the environment. Okay, so that's the reason why calculus is not able to cause the disease. However, they help the plaque, uh, or it serves as a niche for the plaque to be able to um, migrate or to be able to attach on the deeper parts of the pocket. Okay, calculus would also cause tissue irritation because it's calcified. It's hard, causes irritation to the gums. Okay, any questions here? Intindihan ninyo? Y- Did you understand the concept? Okay. What's the role of calculus? Calculus is the most commonly occurring plaque retentive factor. Okay, causing caused by precipitation of minerals. So tama kanina, supragingival calculus is due to the saliva. Subgingival calculus is due to the gingival clavicular fluids that's present. Okay. So where can you usually find the calculus? Sa patients ninyo, where do you usually find calculus accumulation?
The lingual of
Right.
lower inside
Lingual of lower incisors and also on the
buccal of upper
buccal of upper. Why is it that
molar.
those areas are the most prone to have calcular deposit formation?
The glands.
Because of the glands that would exit there. Diba? So you have the glands there, then they're able to cause calcification. What about chlorhexidine or your Orahex? Diba? Sabi natin, chlorhexidine, one of the side effect is calculus formation. Prolonged use of your chlorhexidine would cause calculus formation. Why? Why would it cause calculus formation? Let's say you have a trauma patient. Patient underwent interdental wiring, maxillomandibular fixation, so the patient would tend to gargle Orahex or chlorhexidine. Upon removal of the wires, once the patient opens his mouth, you would find thick calcular deposit on the area.
Partially that because you need the mechanical brushing to get rid of the accumulation. Because with chlorhexidine, what it does, it just lessen, or its antimicrobial effect will lessen the presence of the bacteria, pero it doesn't get rid of the plaque itself. So there will be continuous accumulation,
Okay,
although
very
it
good.
lessens.
Okay, very good. That's correct. Diba? When you gargle Orahex or chlorhexidine, you're just killing the bacteria. You're not mechanically removing the plaque there. You also need mechanical removal of plaque. Okay? Keep in mind that mouthwashes or oral rinses are serves only as adjuncts. Serves only as adjuncts. It helps you clean the mouth, but you still need the mechanical debridement, toothbrushing, flossing. Okay? So we have here the calculus crystalline forms. You have your brushite, octacalcium phosphate, hydroxyapatite, and with loctite. Okay? And they would differ in terms of the location. Subgingival with loctite, supragingival, brushite, and others. Okay? Supragingival calculus, whitish to dark yellow. Okay? Appears similar to hypoplastic enamel. So if you have a patient and you are to remove such calcular deposits, make the patient understand first na, okay, this is your condition, you have thick deposits here, and we would be removing these. These are not restorations. Some patients kasi would believe na these are tooth restorations and they would get mad after. Dok, tinanggal mo yung restoration ko, tinanggal mo yung pasta ko, you removed my tooth restoration. Diba? Sinira ng doc, ng dentist yung teeth ko kasi tinanggal niya yung restoration. And if you ask your patient, when was your last dental visit? Doc, it's my first dental visit. Diba? So how would the patient have tooth restoration in the first place? Okay? So make the patient understand that, okay, we will be removing this. And once we remove this, some teeth might become more mobile. Okay? To make the patient understand that now, if you remove those calcular deposits, because these calcular deposits acts as a splint to the teeth. And once you have removed chunks of calcular deposits, some teeth would start becoming mobile. Okay? That's important kasi the patient might think na, okay, doc, after oral prophylaxis, my teeth become mobile. You ruined my teeth, di ba? Sinira mo yung ipin ko. Okay? If
Have
it's possible, you ask your patient to sign also. Yes, Mr. Fadul?
I see this Lolo old guy at the mosque every Friday. I see that he
Mhm,
has calculated deposit. He's in 60 plus, maybe 65
mhm,
on that.
mhm,
I've been trying to convince him na to come to get perio treatment, whether with
mhm,
me or anyone at
mhm,
school
mhm,
na. Pero
mhm,
once I explain to him the risk of also mobility that comes with it, he doesn't want
mhm.
he doesn't want that.
Maybe, maybe you can try to convince him. Who's the patient?
He's just a old man that I see at the mosque every Friday.
Okay. The must. Maybe you can try to convince him that yes, they would really. It's possible that it would become mobile, but we can put splint on the teeth afterwards to lessen the mobility if that's the problem of the patient. Because if the deposits were not removed, it would further cause tissue destruction. Basically, the patient is just delaying the tooth loss. It is still important that you remove the root cause of the problem, diba? So you can put splint afterwards, okay? If you have a patient like this, patient has also stains, diba? Mga stains. How would you be able to efficiently remove the stains? So if you use ultrasonic scaler, it would take you a long time, diba? Parang you're removing pixel by pixel the stains. You can try
Mm.
to polish. You can try to polish. You can try to start with polishing. Okay. Let's say you have your own clinic, you saw several stains. You start with polishing muna. Initial polishing to help you remove some of the stains. Para your oral prophylaxis will not be that would not take that long. Okay. Polish, then oral prophylaxis, ultrasonic, then polish again. Okay. To ensure thoroughness of the cleaning or oral prophylaxis that is being performed. All right. Subgingival. Number four, most numerous fibers in the periodontal ligament running from cementum in an oblique direction to insert into the bone coronally. They bear the impact masticatory stresses and transform them in a tension on the alveolar bone. If you have this question and you're having a hard time imagining what the question is, you can try to draw. Diba? Sabi dito, it's talking about the periodontal ligament. So it's running from cementum and to the bone, yung bone, in an oblique direction. Pag ganun siya. So the answer is oblique, of course. Diba? If your answer is horizontal, we have a problem now, diba? You're taking the board exam. Cementum in an oblique direction. Ay, horizontal. You have a problem sa ano. Diba? So you can try to find some answers based from the question. Okay? Sometimes it's already there. The answer is already in the question. Okay, you have your oblique fibers. So this is about the periodontal ligaments. So what do you know about periodontal ligaments? Periodontal ligaments acts as shock absorber, but it's only up to a certain point. There's a limit. If you exceed the limit, what would happen? The tooth would have, what do you call that? If you exceed the limit, say there's
Yeah.
parafunctional habit, there's heavy
Periodontitis.
pressure contact. Sorry, you
Periodontitis.
have periodontitis. Periodontitis kasi is caused by bacteria, di ba? But if it's due to heavy forces, let's say you have premature contact on the tooth and it uh, frequently receives heavy occlusal force, then what would happen to the area? There would be trauma to the area due to heavy occlusal forces. Meaning to say, there would be Ang tawag doon? There's trauma to the area because of heavy occlusal forces. Do I need to write it down? There's trauma due to heavy occlusal forces. Ayan na.
Doc, what is your
Tawag yan.
question? What is your question?
If the periodontal ligaments, di ba sabi natin, the periodontal ligaments is able to absorb the shock, but it's only up to a certain point, to a certain limit. What would happen to the area if the periodontal ligaments would receive or would exceed the forces, would exceed its limit? What do you call that condition? You have a tooth
You will have
that has premature contact. You restore the tooth, there's premature contact there. What can happen to the tooth? The
you will
tooth can have
pain na dog.
trauma due to heavy occlusal force. So what do you call that condition?
Does it start with P, dog?
No, the answer is already there. The answer
I
is
know.
already there.
Ano pa?
You just use the words there. I already wrote the answer.
Trauma.
We have two types of this one. One is with the healthy periodontium. The other one is with a reduced periodontium. So what do you call that one? What do you call that condition? Forgot na. The answer is there. Is it two forces? Is it due occlusal? Oh, you just use the words. Occlusal trauma. Diba? You would have occlusal trauma. Occlusal traumatism. Remember occlusal trauma? Diba you have two types of occlusal trauma? This one, the tooth that has premature contact. What do you call that type of occlusal trauma? Is it primary occlusal trauma or secondary occlusal trauma?
Dog, this whole time my mind is primary. I keep
It's
thinking of
primary. Okay. So this one, is it primary occlusal trauma or is it secondary occlusal trauma? The other type is you have a tooth, however, the bone is compromised, and you have now normal forces. This one has heavy forces, normal periodontium. This one, reduced periodontium. So which one is primary occlusal trauma? Which one is secondary occlusal trauma?
heavy force is primary.
This one is primary occlusal trauma, right? You have normal periodontium. There's nothing wrong with the periodontium. You have a healthy periodontium. However, the tooth is receiving heavy occlusal forces. So that is primary occlusal trauma. For the second one, you have a reduced periodontium. You have a compromised periodontium. Maybe the patient have had periodontitis before and it was already controlled. Then you have normal forces on being received by the tooth. Normal lang naman. It's not heavy. There's no bruxism present. Okay. This is secondary occlusal trauma. How would you address this one? Would you be asking your patient to just chew lightly? Okay, just chew lightly. Kasi normal forces is traumatizing to the teeth. Ganun ba? How would you solve this problem? What treatment is indicated for the patient? Kasi for this one, you just adjust the restoration. Check with your articulating paper, you remove the prematurities, and you're able to solve the problem. But for this one, how would you manage your patient?
Printing doc.
Splinting. Diba? You distribute the force. You distribute the force by splinting. Kasi compromise na yung periodontium eh. So you put splint. Distribute the load being received by the tooth. Okay? So that's the difference between primary occlusal trauma from your secondary occlusal trauma. Any questions so far? None? Okay. So periodontal ligaments, the width is approximately 0.25 millimeter, meaning to say the tooth has physiologic mobility. So in your GPA, on your GPA form, you cannot write mobility negative. Because if you wrote negative, this mobility, what would it mean? Na ibig sabihin nun?
Kilos.
Ankylosed yung tooth. So instead, you should write physiologic or normal. Diba? So before, clinicians would tend to write negative sa mobility. So it means ankylosed yung tooth. Where in fact, they just mean na it's normal. So physiologic is different from ankylosis. Okay? Our teeth has a certain degree of mobility because of the periodontal ligaments present. Okay? You have several periodontal ligaments. You have transeptal fibers, alveolar crest fibers, horizontal fibers, oblique fibers, apical fibers, interradicular fibers. Okay? So transeptal, number one, this one, cementum to cementum. Okay? If you have cementum to cementum attachment, that is your transeptal fibers. Okay? What about interradicular fibers? Interradicular fibers is number 4. This one. Cementum to alveolar crest. Okay? Or sorry, cementum to interradicular pala. Interradicular bone. Alveolar crest is here pala. Cementum to the interradicular bone. Okay? That's your interradicular fibers. Okay? So alveolar crest fibers, you already know this. Horizontal fibers, oblique fibers, apical fibers, interradicular group. Okay? Let's talk about Sharpie's fibers. When you say Sharpie's fibers, these are periodontal ligaments that would tend to insert on the bone and insert on the cementum. Extension of your periodontal ligaments. Those, excuse me, are your Sharpie's fibers. Okay, and if you take a closer look on the Sharpie's fibers embedded or present on the bone has a different thickness compared to the Sharpie's fibers that are embedded on the cementum. The Sharpie's fibers on the bone are thicker compared to the Sharpie's fibers embedded on the cementum. They are thinner. Mas manipis. Okay, they are thinner. So, anong oras na? 10:23. We'll have a short break. Okay, ano to? Wait lang. Primary difference. These are just questions before that the students find difficult to answer. You can take a screenshot if you want. So, walang choices. Okay. So, anyway, we'll have a short break. 10-minute break. Be back by 10:34. And we'll continue discussing this item analysis. Okay. 10:34.